Hi, I'm Kesten Rono, and thank you for being here again for day 76 of A Course in Miracles. Reviewing Principle 16. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. They simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. Miracles are teaching devices to demonstrate it is as blessed to give as it is to receive. May this sink in. It is as blessed to give as it is to receive. I think it would be tempting to imagine that we have to witness a miracle before we can understand that it is as blessed to give as it is to receive. But what if we started by giving and being curious what we received by giving, especially when our fears and our unknowns and our upsets and the love that we have for, say, our family, for whom we want to provide into the future, including if we're not around, that we care about the safety and the well-being of ourselves and those we love, and then our neighbors, of course, and then extending into others when we have the peace and patience and means to do so. If it's the safety and peace and the provision that we seek for ourselves and these people, and if that safety and provision and peace we cannot provide once we are dead, is there any way that we could imagine then that we could provide all of this forever and participate in its knowingness? I suppose that would be the miracle. But one tool that we know about for giving is forgiving, forgiveness. The forgiveness is a blessing to both parties. The beauty of forgiveness is it's like a gift. The person who's receiving forgiveness must be receiving it, not out of demand, but out of a genuine offering of the other person. And the person who is receiving forgiveness may not even expect it or want it. Perhaps they even feel shameful about the action that they have done, and therefore are living in some kind of depressed hell. I've been there. So, what is forgiveness if we've hurt someone or we've hurt ourselves? It is our opportunity, it is our realization that we must see this differently, else we'd be destroyed by some idea existing in the past that we still bind ourselves to. So, forgiveness would be an example of a tool that we know is a blessing to both parties. It's the opposite of cursing or damning someone for what they did when we are upset for how we have been treated or for how someone we love has been treated. I can feel that. I do not think we should be hurting each other or taking advantage of people who are weaker. Of course, they're only relatively weaker. They likely have other strengths given their experiences that are different than ours. And this is where I believe we can all feel a natural need to defend and attack. That fundamentally, if we are all looking for meaning and purpose and love, that we do not find that on display when someone takes advantage of somebody else, especially premeditated. But if we can find a more harmless example, we imagine, of an upset that we're holding on to, perhaps we can see the person that is doing this as sick, that this is the best way that they know how to offer love. And it's horrendous. Imagine what it would be like for you to have to commit whatever it is that you have pulled into your mind that either you have committed. What would it take for you to have to do that now? What state were you in? Or what state do you imagine you would have to be in to do whatever it is that someone has done to you or a loved one? I think this exercise could feel easier if we are not picking something supremely violent. But if you're putting yourself in that perspective, I would imagine that you have to pick something that is sicker, and not physically, but consciously sicker than it is that you are now, that you would have succumbed to some kind of madness. And if you can picture yourself in this position, and you know that that is not your fundamental nature, but you can see how it is possible theoretically that you could be backed into a corner such that you would have that kind of reaction, or over a long enough time of seeing abuse and upsets, that your mind is separated from love and truth. In an attempt to find it, you are doing the only thing that you know. We know that we could arrive there in our mindlessness, whether this is done unto us or we can see that we are participating in it. We know this is true because you act irrationally when you are not relaxed and have the ability to consider what might be your most favorable course of action. That if you are reacting to some stress at work or in the car, on the phone, a mess suddenly, well, you're not always calm. And if we were calm, we wouldn't have that same reaction. It's a very small example. But we can't imagine what it might be like to do something for which we might hope for forgiveness, or to do something where we feel so shameful that we think that there is no redemption. And in either case, imagine the person who you believe you hurt, whom you believe you hurt, coming to you and saying, "You hurt me, but I don't want to see life like that, such that I believe I can just be hurt by somebody else. That I have these wounds, or I had those marks, or perhaps there was nothing physical, but I have been carrying something associated with it that I do not wish to see life through anymore. And I genuinely want to be different. I don't imagine that I want to be around you right now, but perhaps if you are able to find peace and healing for yourself, then maybe our paths cross again. But fundamentally, I do not want to be at odds with you either, lest I be in a position where I always feel scared or that I need to attack you back. And this has not been serving me. And even though I feel attacked and I could justify myself as a victim, I want to see myself as the creator of my own mind and my own peace. And this is what I wish to know. So, me before, who could not see this, but me now can, I offer you my forgiveness. I do forgive you. I forgive you. What happens in this moment? Whoever is daring themselves to break this cycle of attacks is receiving something that they could not have known they would ever have without it. They lived before where they believed that forgiveness was not a thing, but they are someone who is attacked, and everyone in the world is attacking them, and they are pleading for some safety and sanity that has been corrupted by the nature of other people who are corrupting because they are corrupted. The sickness is flowing into new hosts, and we don't have to carry it. It is okay to see something differently. To see something differently requires that you were seeing it some other way prior. So to believe that you are not able to see something differently, that wouldn't be okay for you because you are too sinful, would exclude the idea that seeing something differently is allowed. But I'm telling you, seeing something differently is an idea. You may try it on. And if what you are seeing is trauma, pain, depression, coercion, anger, sadness, fear, and you wish to feel meaning, purpose, love, connection, truth, safety, then it is okay for you to say, I would like to see this differently. And whether you are forgiving or have been forgiven, you now have the runway of peace, as there is no one out to get you related to this situation any longer. And you recognize that you are solely responsible for how you feel and your actions next. That you have permission to see it differently. That idea does exist. You are entitled to that idea. And you are the creator who allows yourself to try it on. Otherwise, you're damning yourself. You're condemning yourself. You believe that you are eternally guilty, that there is no such thing as redemption or salvation or forgiveness. Yet here you are, either taking the step of forgiving or you have been forgiven. It's undoing what has been done. It is removing assignment of value from the past into the present, opening the door of the unknown in the future. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. Is that not what forgiveness does? Miracles bear witness to truth. Each day should be devoted to miracles. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as it is to receive. If you don't know what a miracle is, and we're just learning together, you do have a tool to try it on. Remember, you are the miracle, and it is the process of forgiveness that reveals the strength, the momentum to continue along this path because it creates more levity. It naturally moves itself forward. It wants to go back to the truth. Everything wants to go back to the truth. Again, I ask you, if you were depressed, shameful, afraid, and therefore you were uncomfortable, how is it logical for you to imagine that that is your state or that will provide you comfort? If you are uncomfortable living below one of these feelings, and you're telling yourself that you do not want peace, that you want to die, that you do not believe in forgiveness, Therefore, you are saying you are aligned with this idea. Why does the idea of being upset not provide you more comfort? I know we remain in these ideas, but by design, of course, we want out, because if you were comfortable being depressed, there would be no such thing as depression or comfort. But they're fundamentally at odds with each other. That you are not happy is highlighting that you want peace, whether you are being destructive to yourself or somebody else, or you are suffering as you believe someone else has condemned you to feel scared because of a way you have been traumatized. The pure nature of that idea that you are uncomfortable, that you can feel it all the time, that you are avoiding feeling it all the time. The very nature of that idea is highlighting that you crave comfort and you crave peace. You do want it, even if you do not believe you do not want it. Of course you want it, or you would be at peace in your discomfort. And you're not. It is inevitable that you will return to peace. And if you have to destroy yourself to get there, you will realize that you are only destroying the idea of your discomfort that you have been holding on to. You will always go back to truth. This is why everyone, I believe, is seeking love and doing their very best, even if it looks entirely illogical, to express it. And if you cannot see that, but you know that you are uncomfortable, you know you have a tool that breaks all laws, all reason, in your fears and your attacks, even though you are absolutely craving peace. And that tool is forgiveness. It requires that you take a first step in the direction that you fear the most, recognizing your discomfort and that it is not the state that you crave. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. You may do this through the power of forgiveness. This is waking up to what a miracle is. Once you have forgiven the world, you can say that the light has come. And the idea of time, you're learning about this tool, how to undo the spell you've cast over yourself and accepted. Time begins to fade. What use would you have for building in time if you were eternally safe and peaceful? What would you have to discover anymore? Miracles simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. It is fundamentally selfish for you to withhold an opportunity of strength from yourself, from someone else, when it requires nothing of you, nothing material. You don't have to do anything for it, but let go of your upset and wish the other person peace too. Why would this not be to your absolute benefit? Imagine every mind right now converted to team peace. Imagine it. Every single person had no attack thoughts, including the ones who had hurt you or the ones you wanted to hurt. Just imagine that's possible. Would that not be a world of absolute peace and safety? The standard would be forgiveness, always undoing. Everyone would be released from the past into the future through the present act of forgiveness, as unreasonable as it would be when you are the victim or you know someone who is the victim of some kind of trauma, some upset you are carrying. So please allow yourself to feel emboldened and strengthened, recognizing that miracles are a blessing to both you and the person whom you forgive. The light has come. You have forgiven the world. Lesson 76. I am under no laws but God's. You are under no laws but God's. Please repeat this after me. I am under no laws but God's. What does this mean? All of the laws made out of illusion to guard something that is actively stolen and enforced by force, and when questioned, not revealed in its fullness, whatever has been done by the past, that we accept it as so and continue to feed into that system. This is absolute destruction that we are accepting. It is not the truth, and it is okay to want the truth. And if you cannot find it in the system that will never give it to you, why do you keep looking there? Why not build in truth? Be curious how to arrive there. Find other people who are building in truth. And when the ideas of destruction and disease and death show up, simply sit with them and see what is revealed in the end. Please tell me if it is not always the truth. That we have permission to build in a different system, to feel in a different system. A system where you are under no laws but God's. So today, I am under no laws but God's. We have observed before how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation. Each has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself. You are not bound by them. Yet to understand this is so. Yet to understand that this is so, you must first realize salvation lies not there. While you would seek for it in things that have no meaning, you bind yourself to laws that make no sense. Thus, you seek to prove salvation is where it is not. You cannot continue to give up your sovereignty of thought and health to someone who would abuse it and tell you that they are taking care of you, and continue to build and look inside of that system and be siphoned away and imagine that through some process of stealing from you with your permission that you are ever going to find fullness. It does not exist there. You will never find it in anything that you create with that intention in that system. Today we will be glad you cannot prove it. That is, you do not seek to prove salvation is where it is not. That is, while you would seek for it, salvation, while you would seek for salvation in things that have no meaning, you bind yourself to laws that make no sense. Thus, do you seek to prove salvation is where it is not. Today we will be glad you cannot prove it, for if you could, you would forever seek salvation where it is not, and never find it. That sounds like hell, doing the same thing over and over again, going insane, wondering why you cannot find it, without the presence of mind to understand that you are fundamentally looking in the wrong spot every single time. I believe this is the biggest hint. If you are looking outside of you for some version of saving you from your upsets, you will always be disappointed and destroyed. Where is the only other place that is not outside of you? Where else could you look? The idea for today tells you once again how simple is salvation. Look for it where it waits for you, and there it will be found. Look nowhere else, for it is nowhere else. Think of the freedom in the recognition that you are not bound by all the strange and twisted laws you have set up to save you. Do you really think that you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal discs? Do you really think a small round pellet or some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off disease and death? Do you really think you are alone unless another body is with you? It is insanity that thinks these things. You call them laws and put them under different names in a long catalog of rituals that have no use and serve no purpose. You think you must obey the quote unquote laws of medicine, of economics, and of health. Protect the body and you will be saved. These are not laws, but madness. The body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. The body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. If you are poisoning your own mind, your own well, and drinking that water, do you expect to discover health? The body suffers just in order that the mind will fail to see it is the victim of itself. The body's suffering is a mask the mind holds up to hide what really suffers. The body's suffering is a mask that the mind holds up to hide what really suffers, the mind. It would not understand it is its own enemy, that it attacks itself and wants to die. It is from your quote unquote laws. It is from this your laws would save the body. It is for this you think you are a body. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. There are no laws but God's. You are under no laws but God's. Every law where you are written as law, as you take as law, literally as law, is created by another person who is not any different than you. They are people with ideas and incentives and whispers in their ears, and they do not know you. They're not fundamentally keeping you in mind. Only you are keeping you in mind. Your magic has no meaning. What it is meant to save does not exist. Only what it is meant to hide will save you. Let's repeat this. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. Your magic, remember magic being a downgrade from a miracle, merely spectacle, a trick. Of course, every magician is tricking you. That is the fun of it. Your magic has no meaning. What is meant to save you does not exist. That is, you are looking externally in illusions outside of your own mind, where you will find God and truth, and anywhere else that you are looking cannot have ultimate meaning. Why? If you are identifying with the body, you exist in the sliver of time in which you can hold ideas in your mind. And if you want to say all of human time that has ever been, well, that is still some sliver of time relative to the infinite, to the eternal. Do you believe that you who is listening, or me who is talking, wherever those thoughts are coming from, do you fundamentally know where they are, or do you believe that they are limited? You could say that they are limited relative to my lifespan, but then you would be admitting that you are only as good as long as you can stay alive, and you can never predict when you die. Do you want to live in such scarcity and lack? Or do you believe that fundamentally what you are observing and how you are moving are two fundamentally different ideas? And you can either choose to align yourself with your body perspective, or you can choose to accept that things do exist in the invisible relative to your five senses. What is meant to save you does not exist. Only What it is meant to hide will save you. What is it that is meant to hide? Your magic. Everything that you have made up in opposition to God's will. It's only meant to hide everything that you have made up. It is a lack of transparency. The laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that this is so. It is no longer a truth that we would hide. We realize instead it is a truth that keeps us free forever. Magic imprisons, but the laws of God make free. The light has come because there are no laws but His. We will begin the longer practice periods today with a short review of the different kind of quote-unquote laws we have believed we must obey. These would include, for example, the laws of nutrition, of immunization, of medication, and of the body's protection in innumerable ways. Think further. You believe in the laws of friendship, of good, relationships, and reciprocity. Perhaps you even think that there are laws set forth what is God's what is God's and what is yours. Many religions have been based on this. They would not save, but damn in heaven's name. Wow. Let's repeat the parts that are about what we believe are good. Think further. You believe the quote unquote laws of friendship, of good relationships and reciprocity. We believe in them. Perhaps you even think that there are laws which set forth what is God's and what is yours. Okay, this is saying that we are subscribing to ideas that there is a realm of God and there is a realm of us, and they're only mediated, I suppose, possibly by some authority figure that says that they have access to God and you have to sit still and be face forward. Say what we say and come through us. Many religions have been based on this. They would not save, but damn in heaven's name. If they are teaching that you are separate from God fundamentally, and you are accepting this idea, you are giving up whatever it is that you may notice inside of yourself. It does not mean you could not participate in a religion. But if it is not offering you heaven's light directly, perhaps there is a question that you may want to ask yourself. Is this true? They would not save, but damn in heaven's name. Yet they are no more strange than other laws you hold must be obeyed to make you safe. There are no laws but God's. Dismiss all foolish, magical beliefs today, and hold your mind in silent readiness to hear the voice that speaks the truth to you. You will be listening to one who says there is no loss under the laws of God. So if you are listening to the capital V voice, which is attempting to speak the truth in you, you will be listening to one, capital O, who, capital H, one who, something spiritual, something larger, as we capitalize God and we don't capitalize gods in this way. If you are ready to hear the voice that speaks truth to you, you will be listening to the one who says there is no loss under the laws of God. What does that mean? It sounds like when we are talking about true vision may only bless, that there is no sacrifice. Why could that be true? What would you fundamentally be giving up if you accepted the ability to see the truth in all things? If I told you a lie, would you want to believe the lie forever, even if someone else told you what the truth was? What have you given up by giving up the lie? You have been holding on to a lie, calling it the truth. I tricked you. Someone else tells you the truth. It becomes obvious for you to be able to prove that that was the truth and I was lying. So what was the story you were telling yourself? Well, it was a lie. And what was the lie? A complete illusion. It never happened. And fundamentally, whatever did happen is no longer happening. True vision may only bless. There is no sacrifice. There is only a sacrifice if you are adhering, binding yourself to what has been said before that is outside of true vision. Of course, when you have truer knowledge, fuller knowledge about something that you didn't understand before, you forego the way you were seeing it before and you don't care. That's what forgiveness and letting go is. That's what moving towards truth is. That's what discovering ease is. You don't want the other way ever again. It's actually meaningless to you. But you were living in it then, and then was a now for you. It was all you had, so it had all the meaning. But relatively speaking, the same you who sees differently, who can see the truth right through the lie, that you would never hold on to the lie if you wanted to feel peace and safety and the truth. And of course you want that. Otherwise, you're living in hell, and now you're doing it actively because you know better. So, of course, there is no sacrifice, but it feels like if we let go of the story we're telling us ourselves, that we will be destroyed. So, what does that mean? It means the ideas are being destroyed. You certainly felt some peril in the past or some challenge that was just too much for you to handle, and yet here you are. So, what is it that you are if that couldn't destroy you, but that was certainly your experience? One thing you have to entertain is that the perspective from which you see is eternal. And it is your binding to an idea that feels real, but you've proven to yourself countless times has never been. It's not here now, and yet you are. We keep telling ourselves this story, me too, and we're letting it go because there is no sacrifice in seeing the truth, even when it feels like we will be destroyed. That is the effects of our seeing or the effects of our thinking trying to get our attention and saying, it is wildly illogical what you are doing. You will never be destroyed. You can let this go because you are not at ease. If you are not at ease, you're holding on to something that is dis-ease. You don't want it. There's nothing to sacrifice in seeing the truth. There is no loss under the laws of God. The voice that speaks the truth to you is the one who is telling you that there is no loss under the laws of God. I am under no laws but God's. Payment is neither given nor received. Exchange cannot be made. There are no substitutes and nothing is replaced by something else. God's laws forever give and never take. They forever give and never take. There is no sacrifice that you need to make in order to know God. No penance you have to pay to know God. No contribution or donation. No payment. No accumulation. Nothing to know God. This idea would fundamentally have to be part of whatever you are. And if God's laws only give, then you may know abundance. You have something rare outside of the way that everyone else is seeing to eternally give. And you will be able to see right through the illusion as the vibration of someone else offering you something that does not exist and telling you you must have it, and in a hurry or you will be destroyed. You will laugh. You've heard that before. And you feel fullness as you move closer to this idea through the power of forgiveness. Maybe we'll try it on. Or maybe we'll need more and more and more examples to see how illogical it is that we continue to participate in something that does not offer us ease. We're living in dis-ease, and we don't want it. Hear him who tells you this, and realize how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. Then listen further. He will tell you more about the love your Father has for you, about the endless joy he offers you, about his yearning for his only son, created as his channel for creation, denied to him by his belief in hell. That when you believe you are done unto, you are eliminating your possibility of understanding that you are the creator, that you have some autonomy, sovereignty over your well-being, and that this is infinite as you start exploring it. You can find no end to it, just like you can find no end to anything you investigate, only more revealings and more questions. The same is true as you step inside of yourself. It continues to go until you are in the infinite and you are closer and closer to God more often. And you have been damning yourself in hell because you believe it. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. Okay? Creation is endlessly increased. As we open God's channel to him, to this voice to God, and let his will extend through us to him, that we can feel God's will as being created by something that has the power to create whatever it is that your consciousness is, that we can feel that connection and return to an idea of God. And if you are doing this in openness through the power of forgiveness, come back to me and tell me if all you find is death and destruction. Because if you did, you would have to forgive it. That we are on a process to noticing whatever is there as we let go of any version of upset, an undoing. It's just not possible that as we let go of whatever is causing us ill, that we find more illness. We're letting it go. You may only be blessed. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. His voice will speak of this to us, as well as of the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. Imagine something being limitless forever. The opposite of every scarcity mindset that we wear and the fears that revolve or evolve from it. We will repeat today's idea until we have listened and understood there are no laws but God's. Then we will tell ourselves, as a dedication with which the practice period concludes, I am under no laws but God's. You are under no laws but God's. Please repeat this statement. I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible today, at least four or five times an hour, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws throughout the day. It is our statement of freedom from all danger and all tyranny. It is our acknowledgement that God is our Father and that his Son is saved. I am under no laws but God's. Imagine saying this to someone. If they say, okay, have a great day, what are they seeking from you? And if they demand something else from you in a hurry or under threat of force, what are they revealing to you? Anyone fundamentally telling you that you're not under laws of freedom and peace and safety, or tells you that they offer it to you by force, is revealing everything that you need to know. You are under no laws but God's. Say this often today, if you dare. I am Kesten Rono, and I am under no laws but God's. See you for day 77.